Well, the Mets win the first game of this doubleheader here, or sort of doubleheader, as the Mets take the first game of the series, winning 5-4 over the Boston Red Sox. And I it's aggravating watching this baseball team play. Like, even when they win, they aggravate me to no end. The lack of production with runners in scoring position was very disgusting in this game. But there's a lot to talk about here. It sucks that we couldn't watch Senga pitch fully and give us a full start because of the fact that it got cut off last night. But we will talk about it. Before we do, be sure to leave a like on the video if you do enjoy. Subscribe if you guys are new, especially if you're Met fans, and turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live next on the channel. But let's talk about this baseball game. As in the top of the first, the Mets go down in order. Bottom of the first, Jaron Duran with a single. He ends up getting a stolen base as well, and he's able to advance to third because Alvarez had a brutal throw that sailed over into the outfield. And then Justin Turner hits into a ground out. However, that would bring in a run, and that makes it a 1-0 ball game for the Boston Red Sox. And then thankfully Senga gets a back-to-back ground out. So at first they charged the run for whatever reason to Senga, which I just didn't get, but whatever. I digress. Top of the second, Mets go down in order. Bottom of the second, Adam Duvall pops out. Alex Verdugo strikes out, and then the Mets cannot. They can't get out of it. Senga cannot get out of it as he walks Tristan Casas, and then Connor Wong gets a single that puts runners on first and second, and Yu Chang hits himself a double into left field to make it a 3-0 ball game as both Casas and Wong score. And at that point, I thought the game was over. I thought there was no point. I thought the Mets had no shot. Jaron Duran flies out, and I'm like, yeah, Senga, not going to get mad at him for having 2 earned runs because of the fact that it is what it is. He's been the best pitcher in the Mets rotation. I thought the Mets had no chance, but then the top of the third, they proved me wrong as Brett Beatty gets himself a double in the center, and then Canna flies out, Guillorme pops out, and then Brandon Nimmo hits a home run to right to make it a 3-2 ball game. Lindor strikes out, but the Mets get themselves back into the game. Bottom of the third, Senga gets a much-needed 1-2-3 inning. And then the top of the fourth, the Mets again prove me wrong here as Jeff McNeil gets himself a double to center field. Then Pete Alonso flies out, and then Daniel Vogelback crushes one towards right field to make it a 4-3 ball game. So the Mets all of a sudden have the lead in this one, and then Alvarez and Beatty end up getting out. We go to the bottom of the fourth. Adam Duvall strikes out. And then in the middle of an Alex Verdugo at bat, where it was a 1-2 count, I believe, that's when the rain came in and it just flooded like crazy. And oh my God, the new umpire that they had behind the dish after that, horrendous. The umpire behind the dish for the afternoon portion of this game, horrendous. And it was for both sides. It wasn't a one-side thing. You saw both sides getting pissed off at this umpire. Well, except for Buck, because he just, God forbid, he loses his cool ever. But Alex Cora wasn't having it. Mark Vientos, after he got on base, was still pissed off because of the umpire. The umpire was absolutely atrocious in this one, but well, let's just talk about this. Alex Verdugo grounds out. Tristan Casas then hits into a single, and then he ends up getting picked off at first base. It ends up being called otherwise at first. He's called safe at first, but then the Mets challenge it, and he was clearly out by a mile. But again, the umpiring crew was just horrendous in this one. Then Joe Jocks comes in to pitch for Cutter Crawford because the bullpens needed to come in. Also forgot to mention Hartwig came into the game at that point, and Senga didn't pick up where he left off. But Mark Canna gets a single. Guillorme then with a nice sacrifice bunt. Brandon Nimmo with a single, and then the Mets, why would they bring any runs in as back-to-back strikeouts from Lindor and McNeil? Bottom of the fifth, Hartwig gets a huge 1-2-3 inning, which was nice. And then Brennan Burr, I don't even know. He comes in for the Red Sox, and Pete Alonso gets himself a double to center field. Mark Vientos comes up the pitch hit. He strikes out, unfortunately. And then a wild pitch there. It moves Alonso to third. Francisco Alvarez strikes out, and thankfully Brett Beatty ends up getting himself a nice little ground ball to the left side of the infield, and that drives in a run to make it 5-3. He really saved the Mets runners in scoring position average in this one. Mark Canna lines out. That's the end of the inning. And then Justin Turner grounds out to lead off the bottom of the 6th. David Peterson comes in the pitch, and he is horrendous as Yoshida walks. Then he throws a wild pitch, which moves Yoshida to 2nd. Rafael Devers with a single, and then Guillorme ends up getting hurt on the play there as he made a couple of beautiful plays that I forgot to even touch on. He had 2 beautiful defensive plays before this, and unfortunately, that was the end of his day as McNeil has to go into right field. He goes to right field. Canna goes from left to right. No, I'm getting it all mixed up. My God, what is wrong with me? Jeff McNeil goes to 2nd. Canna goes from left to right. DJ Stewart goes in the play left field. There you go. Adam Duvall lines out. Alex Verdugo strikes out. We go to the top of the 7th. Richard Bleier comes in. Wow, that guy sucks against the Mets, right? Well, he has a 1-2-3 inning. Bottom of the 7th, Tristan Casas gets a leadoff single. And then Dominic Leone came in, and I thought that was the white flag. I thought the game was over there. Connor Wong strikes out. Rob Refsnyder ends up coming to pitch hit. He gets a sacrifice fly. It was hard to get out of that. And then Dominic Leone surrenders a single to Duran, and I thought that was going to be the implosion. But thankfully, Turner flies out, so he escapes what could have been major trouble there. And then Hernandez comes into play left field. Duran then ends up... I'm getting lost here with the way that they word it here. Jared Duran then... comes in, or no, he comes out of left field. I don't know what's wrong with me, but regardless, top of the 8th, Jeff McNeil gets a single. Pete Alonso gets a single. Mark Vientos gets a single, which he was pissed off because of a previous call during the at-bat because of the ump, but Justin Turner could not play second base. Gifted you that McNeil and Vientos, those singles. For whatever reason, no errors there, but gifted you those. Bases loaded with no outs. This is how much this team pisses me off. Francisco Alvarez pops out in the infield, so it's not even a sacrifice fly. Brett Beatty hits into a double play, which was inevitable. You want a stat? Here's a stat. The 2023 Mets are 1-for-16 with 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, and a 390 OPS with the bases loaded and nobody out this year. They almost had that scenario in the next inning, by the way. This team makes me lose my mind. And I was looking... I want someone to give me the stats on that one because I knew they were bad, but it's worse than I imagined. Brooks Raley then comes in the pitch, gets Yoshida to ground out. Rafael Devers gets a single. Adam Duvall with a strikeout. And then Verdugo, who got lucky... or he didn't get lucky, I should say. Brooks Raley got lucky that it even got that high into the count to make it full. Verdugo, though, walks. Casas then strikes out, thankfully. And another thing that aggravated me. 2 outs at this point in the inning. 1-run lead. Buck Showalter had Trevor Gott warming up. What is... I'm trying to understand what his problem is with putting... his closers in for 4-out saves. Like, why is it a sin for Buck Showalter to do that? I know it's hard for relief pitchers to do that at times, but come on. Trevor Gott in a 1-run game. At least if Robertson came in, obviously it doesn't matter because it didn't happen, but if it did happen, that could have been a disaster, and that could have been another thing that lost the Mets this game, but I just don't understand the logic there. Like, at least if Robertson went in that spot, you did the right thing if it doesn't work out. But if you put Trevor Gott in and he blew the game, would that have been a disaster? Chris Martin comes in the pitch. Mark Hanna gets himself a single to center. DJ Stewart then with a little bunt action there, getting himself a single because Tristan Casas couldn't play defense. Brandon Nimmo then strikes out. Lindor with a force out. Lindor also stole a base. Jeff McNeil grounds out. David Robertson then comes in the pitch, and like I said, he's nailed. Strikes out Connor Wong, gets Rob Refsnyder to pop out, and then Hernandez flies out. He didn't really locate the best in this outing, but still got the job done. But the Red Sox couldn't play defense. They didn't get an error, but Rafael Devers, he had a bad play. They flashed since 2018. He is like miles ahead of the other third baseman in most errors by a third baseman, but regardless, the Mets win 5-4. 13 hits for the Mets, 8 for the Red Sox. Your winning pitcher is Grant Hartwig. Your losing pitcher is Cutter Crawford. And then David Robertson picks up the save in this one. But like I said, just 5 for 17 with runners at scoring position. Yuck. They had way too many opportunities to bring in runs. And like I said, in the 9th inning, they almost had the bases loaded yet again with nobody out. But they couldn't even get to that point. And this could have got ugly. Could have got very ugly. And the Mets are very, very lucky that they escaped with this one, because this should have been a loss for sure. Should have been. Senga looked good in his 3 innings pitch. Not the best and the sharpest that we've seen from Kodai Senga, but still a respectable outing. Grant Hartwig, though, got to give him credit. I rip him apart. He was very good in picking up for Kodai Senga there. David Peterson is just a joke out of the bullpen. Dominic Leone almost imploded. Brooks Raley was good. Robertson was good. Well, I should say Raley was good. He struggled a bit, but Robertson was very good. And then the lineup actually did great. Alvarez went 0 for 4, which is stupid that the one day he doesn't hit, everyone else produces, right? But yeah, I mean, everyone got a hit except for Guillorme, who only got an AB or 2 ABs. So it's not like that's a big deal. He got 1 AB and then the sacrifice bunt, right? Something along those lines. But regardless, and then Lindor going 0 for 5 with 2 strikeouts. I mean, that there's nothing new with that. So not really surprised there. But gonna keep it a bit shorter. Even when they win, they piss me off. It is what it is, but we have to watch this all over again at 7 o'clock. Thankfully, right? Max Scherzer on the bump against James Paxton. And James Paxton just won pitcher of the month for July, I think. So he has been really good for the Red Sox lately. So something to keep an eye on there. But see how this goes. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you guys are new. And I will see you guys in the next one.